Welcome to the Holistic John Char Health Show. Today, the subject matter will be on allergies. But allergy is so widespread that it needs to be explained in two parts. So we're going to have this first show will be what is allergies and some of the components of it. And the next show will be how you treat the allergies alternatively, apart from traditional. So let's describe what an allergy is. An allergy is a person that has absolutely high sensitivity to a normally harmless substance. This can be broken down into more descriptive terms. It can be multiple chemical sensitivities, food sensitivities, environmental illnesses, or intolerance, but more basic levels of an allergy is simply a reaction to something that doesn't necessarily affect another person. So these broad definitions of allergies can be many. For instance, it can be a sensitivity to artificial food additives in your food, to your drinking water, synthetic products, perfumes, natural gases, electromagnetic radiation, yeast or fungus, environmental chemicals such as paint, gasoline, and cleaning solvents, chemicals such as formaldehyde, ammonia, or ethanol, and the list goes on. Even some of the dental fillings that you have in your mouth can be highly allergic to you, such as they call dental amalgam fillings, which are mercury lace fillings. So how can you identify some of the allergies that may occur on you? For instance, if you went to a, say, Chinese restaurant and they put in MSG, you may develop a rash 15 minutes later. As you're going home, you're developing some kind of a rash on you, or tiredness, and that can be a form of allergies. Allergies can be in a form of a rash that you may have, and in fact you might be handling some chemicals like paint, which may have lead in there, or cleaning agents, or even some of the soap. Some of the people are allergic to that, and you may have and develop a rash. Other parts of the other types of the rash you may have would be nasal congestion, and the nasal congestion can be stuffy nose, or vasomotor rhinitis, which is a stuffy nose, a headache, some nausea, coughing, and you may exhibit some deep dark lines around your eyes, like scoping around your eyes. You'll see some dark. And you'll see that a lot of times on young children who are allergic, and people call them, they have Hanabata nose, means a continuous running nose, and dark rings around the eyes. And those children are highly allergic to something. Okay. Other things that you may have would be heart palpitation. Your heart beats fast. You can have other things like eczema, fatigue, dizziness, stomach pain, watery eyes, wheezing, joint or muscle pain, depression, and insomnia. And the list goes on. So for the last 10 years, we've been looking at how to be able to, first of all, recognize it, identify its cause. Anyone can give you the symptoms. You can see the symptoms physically on someone's body. However, if you only treat that symptom with a salve, and some people use cortisol type of ointments. It's only masking the symptom, but it's not getting the cause. You need to get the cause to neutralize that symptom so you can eradicate the symptoms from coming back again. However, if you only do the symptoms, that's physical, then you will expect in the future you may have a rash or symptom that will come back again. It reoccurs again. And so we look at three other things, including the physical. You have to look at the emotional, you have to look at the mental, and the spiritual. You can even get stress and get rashes come out. Okay? You can even smell perfumes, or even your loved ones, can be allergic to them. All right? Towels, you may have different types of fabric in there. Or the clothes you wear. And the clothes you wear could be sort of not rayon, or mixed blend. And people get rash from that. So, we're going to be talking about these allergic symptoms, and some of the symptoms of fools you because what happens is it's a delayed effect. You don't get the symptoms immediately after you contact some kind of chemical object or smell something, or because it might be airborne. It might be in your home, and a lot of times it is. Airborne, bacteria, fungus, viruses in the air. And then something comes up where the weather changes, and all of a sudden you start sneezing and coughing, and you can't stop, and you get a cold. So we have to look very carefully, and we're going to be talking about that more, on the place you live, the place you reside. And even your pillows can be sensitive to that, because you see, the bacteria can be in the air, and it can be spreading out and collected into your carpets, including your drapes. It can be your towels, your clothes that you hang up, and your pillow. Okay? So all these things. So what is the bottom line to this? The bottom line is to find what is causing it. And if you do the traditional, and traditional can be that they use different tests, and that test can be sort of a challenge test, and I'll talk about that later. You can get that test and find out where they're called allergens. However, you still can get it, the same symptoms down the road again. So, some of the symptoms that you may have, it can be seasonal. That's very common, seasonal. What I'm talking about seasonal, as the weather changes, you can get allergies. And now let me explain that. Because everybody thinks that if you get a sensitivity to something, got to be bacteria, especially in the sinuses, got to be bacteria. But now the number one thing that everybody's looking at now is not only the bacteria, because bacteria is now getting a second place standing as to what is the real cause. It could be molds, which a lot of people have, and fungus. And molds can be when the weather changes and the temperature changes. You have a lot of moisture in the air. And when you have that moisture, it can create molds. And you can get a sinus attack. And you think it's from a bacteria, but it can be from the fungus, the molds. Okay. And we eat every day. Some people eat fast foods all the time. And that fast foods can have artificial additives in there. You can have GMO, genetic modified organism. Processed food, and you can have also, now you get a lot of the products we have corn, omega-6 times, and they have gluten. So those are very, very common things that can cause allergies. Gluten wheat, and especially you people think that, well, I'm going to go natural, I'm going to eat more soy products. And now soy products is also gluten's family, and that is one of the major causes of is what? Allergies. All right. How about if you have a pool and it's chlorinated? That pool can also accumulate, even though you have chlorine in there, you can actually have allergies to the chlorine, and that chlorine can rob some of the calcium from your body. But you can also get allergies from that. How about hot tubs? Hot tubs is moisture, okay? And moisture with heat can create molds in it. Everybody thinks about the air ducts in our air conditioning. You have to clean it out. And I thought that too. But they said it's not that much of a factor. It's more the airborne bacteria or fungus that's floating in the air, and you can't even see it. Okay? So you don't have to spend all kind of money now cleaning out your filters, what we thought, in the ducts. You actually have to clean out the air around it so you won't get into the ducts. Okay? How about radiation? Yes, radiation, cell phones, electromagnetic frequencies can create a weakness in the immune system, and you can be, and the thing breaks down, the barrier breaks down, causing autoimmune disorders, and like cell phones, computers, television sets, microwave ovens, okay? And now even the PVC flooring, the chemical in the plastics can create a lot of allergies. People have them on the floor, and so when your baby crawls on it, they can get an allergy, all right? Also the packages, the plastic packages we use, the food packaging, shower curtains, plastic medical supplies, household cleaners, cosmetics, personal care products, all these came from a PVC called phthalates. That can create people without having allergies. How about the diseases connected to it? Diseases can be your sinuses again. However, also some drugs you take in. Some of the drugs have side effects. They can cause you allergic reactions. The Chinese look at people and they say, okay, let's look some visible signs. And they have them stick their tongue out. If the tongue, it looks like it's fiery red, the whole tongue, that can be a sign of allergies. Black toenails, okay, your big toenail can have dark rings around it. That can show that you have some kind of fungus. And also parasites. And you can see the fingernails or the toes are getting eaten up. And that can be a sign of parasites. So the big thing is your gut flora. You must keep your gut flora in. Everybody used to think that the immune system comes from the chest area up. But now they're saying that 80% of the immune system comes from the gut area, gut flora. And what is the gut flora? It's where the friendly bacteria or the bad bacteria can be in the colon, usually on the descending colon on your left side, as it channels back into the porta vein back to the liver. And that, they say, is one of the major things. Diabetes can be one of it. High blood glucose can create some type of allergy reaction to your body. How about your Christmas trees? Christmas is coming up pretty soon. They found that you have a great amount of molds and people getting allergies from your Christmas trees. It can cause nasal, eye, and throat irritation, nasal stuffiness, and headaches. So, what are the foods to try to eat to help guard against the allergies? One of them is called quercetin. Quercetin is an antioxidant, and it's water-soluble plant substance called flavonoids. Okay? Now, this here is really good because it cuts down, it's just like here, it cuts down the chances of mold building up in your body, fungus. And it's a quercetin-rich food such as apples, berries, red grapes, red onions, capers, and black tea. And they prevent histamine release. And what's histamine? It's the one that creates the inflammation in your body, and you can get allergies from that. Butterbur is another one. And the butterbur is also a natural antihistamine. And in Germany, they did some studies of 40% of the patients taking this butterbur root extract were able to reduce the asthma medications they were taking. Okay, but the word of caution, it is also related to the ragweed family, and so you can have, if you are allergic to ragweed, marigold, daisy, chrysanthemums, you should not use butterbur. Okay. How about stinging nettle? It's another natural herb. Again, natural antihistamine. Okay. And there's a long history for the use of seasonal allergies without the drowsiness and dry mouth associated with many pharmaceutical antihistamines. Eucalyptus oil, using as aroma, and you can put it on the ear, the nose, and you can put them into a nebulizer, and it will help reduce the mucous membrane irritation, inflammation in your nose area. Okay. How about spirulina? That's a good one. Spirulina is very powerful and it is good for many different perennial allergies. Okay. So the thing is right now is that what I like to give my patient is probiotics. Probiotics, remember I talked to you about the bacteria flora, means that the body has a lot of bacteria, bad bacteria. And especially if you had an infection and you had antibiotics by your doctor, it will rob the good bacteria in your colon area. And you start to lose Lactobacillus acidophilus or bifidus, and then the body starts to pass gas a lot, you start getting diarrhea, you start to feel sick. And so we give probiotics, okay, and that helps you. And it will also help with against different antibiotic, IgG, okay, and that's thought to play a protective role against allergic reactions. Vitamin D, now not regular vitamin D, but vitamin D3, okay, and that people will be found that with insufficient vitamin D levels has been linked to more severe asthma and allergies, especially in children. So vitamin D3 is important if you get some allergies. Make sure that you take vitamin D3 and even CoQ10. That usually helps. Hot peppers, like hot chili peppers, horseradishes, hot mustard, work as a natural decongestants. In fact, a nasal spray with capsaicin, okay, derived from hot peppers, okay, significantly reduce nasal allergies symptoms. Okay. And how about the local produced honey? That seems to be pretty good, because if you consume natural produced honey, a lot of the honey contains pollen spores, and that is picked up by the bees from local plants. And what happens is they can act as natural allergy vaccines. So you're actually introducing a little bit, a new portion of the pollen, and the body's picking up a reaction. It works similar to homeopathy, where you dilute the original substance millions of times, and then that is just enough to trigger off the body to produce an allergen for the allergies. And it would actually not be able to be strong enough to attack the immune system. So the key is, all these things right now we're talking about are trying to identify certain allergies. And so what they do is, now they have what we call the certain type of test they do, where they can actually put a small dose of this allergen substance and put it underneath the skin, and it forms like a wheel. So it puffs up just a little bit, and you can put them on your back, all the way on your back. Some people used to put them on hands, but it shows too much. So they put them on the back here, and you can roll and roll of that on. And you expect a rash or redness or inflammation. And he said, okay, you're allergic to that, and you should stay away from that type of food for, say, 90 days, and they will give you something of a diluted dose to counteract that. The biggest thing is, what is the diluted dose? The dose for a person who's, say, 6'3", weighing 250 pounds versus a person 5'3", that weighs something in the neighborhood of 150. How much dose do you give them? How much potency, they call potency, do you give them? If you give them the same, it might be too much or too little, and that person might not have or generate a what we call antigen against the allergic reaction. And so you might cause the body to get more allergic. We found that out. Now you have to be very careful when you do that, because if you give too much or the patient is really super sensitive, they can get into an anaphylactic shock. And then actually that's very dangerous, because you have to rush them to the hospital and they have to give you epinephrine to get you out of it, because that is going to rob the epinephrine, your body's going to stop functioning and you may die. So you got to be careful about those things. So if we use normal ways, normal means natural ways, we can actually help without getting the fear of getting an anaphylactic shock. And you still got to be careful too. Everything's got to be careful, okay? So I'm going to be talking about that more on the next show. I'm going to tell you what kind of tests they do, and our changing philosophy. This is, like I said, the new age. The new age is not a new age what we're talking about going before. It used to be, wow, you used to be into, out of sphere or out of traditional mode. We're talking about going into the new decade where we're using high technology, high tech, called biotech, and we're actually detecting thousands of these so-called allergens and being able to neutralize it through bioenergy. And that's what we're going to be showing you on the next show. We'll be talking about things about the home and how you can neutralize the airborne spores in your home. And actually, it will improve your immune system. So the whole key right now is we talked about all these things that can cause you allergies and some kind of reactions to your body. We're going to be able to show you some alternative ways to be able to neutralize the allergies response. I call those stressors that's attacking your immune system. And if it does, and the body succumbs to that attack of all these stressors attacking the body, it will form into what we call autoimmune disorders. And the autoimmune disorders could be in the form of allergies again, and it can go to more severe things that can cause you a disease. So you can get maybe early dementia, high blood pressure. All these allergic manifestations can turn into that, elevating your blood pressure, elevating your blood sugar level, which is diabetic too, and high blood pressure, hypertension, all these many different things. And if it's not taken care of and you keep going ahead and ignoring it, it can turn into a disease. And then when you get a disease, it can turn into more advanced things of cancer, tumors, polyps, all these things that will occur. So we're trying to preach what we call prevention, and doing it naturally and doing it scientifically. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be showing you that on the next show, and we're going to show you some diagrams. And perhaps we can make you more alert to what is out there and how you can protect yourself. Okay? So if you want to go and look into more of this, you can look into the My Health Food show, and it's on the first and third Wednesday of the month on Channel 55 at 6 p.m. and every Thursday morning at 10 you can see a repeat of our show. And so shows 1 and 2 we'll have on allergies. So you can also contact me on drjohnchar.com, Facebook, I have one. I have a personal account on Facebook.com and Twitter. And you can also see me on YouTube, the blog, iMobile, and Google. Okay, so we'll see you on the next show.